Hello and welcome to episode number 10 of AEW Rise to the Top, where we are trying to take AEW to the number one company in the world. And that's right, I did say 10. We are already in double digits for this series. Time bleeding flies when you're having some bleeding fun, doesn't it? We have got an absolutely stacked episode of Dark for you tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We have got not one, we have got not two, we have got three massive debuts coming at you just in Dark alone. Just in bloody Dark alone. We got three debuts, as well as our main event of Private Party taking on TEW. Both teams on a bit of a loss streak, trying to bounce back and get back to winning ways. So enough messing around, let's just jump straight in to the first matchup of the evening. And it is Mr. Brody Lee, or another person trying to bounce back from a loss streak, taking on Shima. And it is Brody Lee who defeats Shima in 6:27 with by pinfall with a pile driver. This got a rating of 63. Mr. Brody Lee had a performance of 60. Shima had a performance of 52. And this match got the show off to a strong start. Mr. Brody Lee and the Dark Order haven't had too much luck in recent times. So trying to get back on track here on Dark with a victory over Shima. And let's move on to the next segment. And making his debut in the series, we have Christian Casanova, who is now All Elite. He's a young, up-and-coming wrestler, big on the US indie scene, and he is now in AEW. And he took on Dr. Luther in his debut matchup and picked up the win in 10:47 with a Fedora Frog Splash. This got a 26 rating, which is, not great. Christian Casanova had a performance of 45, which is nice. Good first showing for him. Dr. Luther had a performance of 22. Yeah, look. Full disclosure, Dr. Luther's contract is coming up soon, and I'm not going to renew it because why would I? Christian Casanova has debuted his Thrill Seeker gimmick. It's got an initial rating of adequate. Commentary was good, and the crowd were turned off by having a match outside of the pre-show between workers they didn't have any investment in. So, yeah, but I mean, that's what Dark's for. I've said it before, I'll say it again. That's what Dark is for, to boost it up. Boost up the profile of these wrestlers. So now, let's move on to the match that was announced last week. Brandon Cutler, who's on a 2-match win streak currently, taking on Sonny Kiss. And it is Brandon Cutler who again picks up another win by pinfall, this time with his actual finisher with a wipeout in 7 minutes 31. Brandon Cutler on a 3-match win streak. This segment got a rating of 21. Brandon Cutler got a 36. Sonny Kiss got a 26. The best in AEW storyline has automatically advanced with this segment. Brandon Cutler hinted at a heel turn, but it got little reaction as he's just not very good at playing that role. Oh, who cares? I got ideas, man. I got ideas. The crowd were turned off for having a match outside the pre-show. This brought the crowd down. That's fine. And now let's move on to the next segment. Oh, God. Having picked up the victory, Brandon Cutler starts to fist pump the air. He rolls out the ring and runs around the crowd barrier, high-fiving everyone in the front row. He rolls back in the ring, climbs the turnbuckle screaming, "I'm coming for you, Moxley. I'm the best there is." So this got a rating of 9, which is terrible. Brandon Cutler again hinted at the tilt. Look, full disclosure here, my idea was that, he'd kind of get a few accidental wins and become like a delusional heel, but maybe that's not going to work. Nah, screw it. I'm going to do it anyway. Who cares? So yeah, this got a rating of 9. The best in AEW storyline has automatically advanced. The announcing gave it a boost. This just wasn't very good, was it? Really? I don't know why I'm putting so much time into Brandon Cutler, but I just like him, man. I just think he's charismatic. I don't know what it is. Now let's move on to our next matchup. A huge triple threat match. Our first triple threat match of the series between 3 young and up-and-coming women looking to get a foothold in the women's division. And it was Big Swole taking on the debuting Maria Manic taking on the debuting Priscilla Kelly. And it was Maria Manic who defeated Big Swole and Priscilla Kelly in 10 minutes 40 when she pinned Priscilla Kelly with an Alabama Slam. Maria Manic, obviously from Ring of Honor and Combat Zone Wrestling CZW before becoming All Elite. I say obviously, I just googled that to find out where she worked before this. But I'm trying to, bolster up some of the divisions, specifically the women's division, get some more people in. And Maria Manic actually carried the match in terms of in-ring performance, which is really good. And I think she's really young. She's like 24, maybe 25, something like that. I can't remember exactly, but she's very young as well, which is good. So hopefully she'll be there for the future. Big Swole had a 32, Maria Manic had a 42, and Priscilla Kelly had a 25. And Maria Manic debuted her old school heel gimmick, which got an initial rating of awful. Very good. The segment rating got 34, which isn't too bad, especially with they don't know Maria Manic, so no wonder they weren't happy to see her. But still, 34 is pretty good for that. Let's move on to the next segment. And it is a video showing that after the attack FTR put on Dustin Rhodes last week, that your main event for Dynamite tomorrow will be Cody and Dustin Rhodes teaming up to take on Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler of FTR. It's got a rating of 58. Just a quick little video just to show this match is coming. Now let's move on to the main event of the evening, Private Party taking on TEW. And here we have our main event of the evening, Private Party defeating Hybrid 2 in just under 9 minutes when Isaiah Cassidy pinned Jack Evans. Angelico was the weak link, struggling to keep up with everyone else's in-ring performance. Has got a 59, which is pretty good. Cassidy got a 63, Mark Quinn got a 61, Evans got a 55, and Angelico got a 43. Mark Quinn seemed off his game with a 61. Oh, obviously, Private Party have excellent chemistry, and apparently this match was poorly placed. A high spot match really needs a crowd who are buzzing and ready for action. Yeah. I thought main event, I thought the 4 guys involved, let's make it like a high spot, exciting, let's get it going, but obviously the crowd was slowed down a little bit for that, but that's alright. So let's finish the show and move on to the end screen and see how we did. Okay, so we got 46 overall. Brandon Cutler one is terrible, which is slightly better than the last 2 weeks. Your show appeared worse because your music production department is slightly worse than at least one rival's. Okay, so I'll have to beef up the music production. But anyway, now let's take a break here and we'll come back for Dynamite in a few moments' time with that huge main event between FTR and Dustin and Cody announced, as well as Jon Moxley taking on Jack Evans. We'll see you in a sec. Hello and welcome back to AEW Dynamite, and once again we have a massive show for you tonight, coming at you from Daly's Place. That's right, we are home in Jacksonville. Well, it's not my home, AEW's home in Jacksonville at Daly's Place, and we have got the number 1 contenders match for the Women's Championship coming up first. We've got the next match in the 6-man Tag Team Championship Tournament coming up, when the Best Friends will take on Sammy Guevara, Jake Hager, and Scorpio Sky of the Inner Circle. And as you know, we also have Jon Moxley taking on Jack Evans, and FTR taking on Cody and Dustin Rhodes. So let's just jump straight into the first segment. So this is the number 1 contenders match for the AEW Women's Championship. Dr. Britt Baker taking on Riho. And your new number 1 contender is Dr. Britt Baker, defeating Riho in 11-11 by submission with the lockjaw. And this actually got a good rating. This got a 49 rating. Dr. Britt Baker had an in-ring result of 39. Riho had a 48. The Doctor versus Shida storyline has advanced with this segment, and the commentary gave it a boost. For once, We finally start off with a rating above like 30. Thank God. And let's move on to the next segment. And it is an angle with Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho is lounging in his house by his pool with a bottle of bubbly. A 6-man tag team tournament. It just so happens that the Inner Circle has 6 members. 1 team on each side of the bracket. An all Inner Circle final. We have been without gold for too long. We will be victorious. We are the Inner Circle, and we will be the first AEW 6-man tag team champions. So that got off to an 81, which is beautiful. Thank you, Christopher. The first champ storyline has advanced with this segment. Chris Jericho clearly enjoyed going off script. Excalibur was pretty weak on the announce desk. That's just because it was a high rating thing. And it got the crowd even hotter. Now let's move on to the debuting Austin Gunn. And in his debut match here in AEW, he's taking on Kip Sabian, and he manages to pick up the win in 8 minutes and 15 seconds with a Cobra Clutch Slam. That match got a 52 rating, which is pretty nice for the Austin Gunn debut. Gunn had a 46, Sabian had a 48, and the commentary boosted that segment. Next up, we will be going backstage for an interview with cheerleader Melissa. Alex Marvez is interviewing cheerleader Melissa backstage. Melissa, can you talk us through what happened after your match at Fyter Fest? Jesus, Marvez, are you blind? Everyone saw what happened. I got cheated out of my title win. Then, when I was letting out some frustration, Tenille Dashwood decided to come and say hello. But don't worry, Alex. I'll be saying hello to her very soon. So the girl next door versus the cheerleader storyline has advanced. Alex Marvez underperformed. I might try and get a new interviewer in, not use Marvez. Maybe try and get like Dasha Gonzalez if she's in the game. I assume that she is. The performance of cheerleader Melissa was good, and I got a 46. Nice little promo just to keep things going. And next up, we have the 6-man tag team tournament match. And in a match that had good heat and decent wrestling, it is the best friends who will go through to the next round when Trent Beretta pinned Sammy Guevara after 17 minutes and 22 seconds. So I got a rating of 67, which is a pretty decent match. Cassidy got a 62, Trent got a 58, Chuck got a 56, Sky and Hager got a 59, and Sammy Guevara got a 63. And the SCU Never and First Champ storylines have both advanced with that segment, and they once again got the crowd even hotter, which is perfect. Let's move on to the next segment. After the match, Sammy gets in Scorpio Sky's face, blaming him for the loss. Sky pushes Sammy, which leaves Hager, Santana, and Ortiz to surround him in the ring. Santana and Ortiz exchange a look with Sky and then attack Hager and Sammy. They are thrown into the ring steps and both put through the announce table. Sky, Santana, and Ortiz hug each other and walk backstage. That got 44. The SCU Never storyline has advanced but lost heat, and the First Champ storyline has advanced. Yeah, this is fuck off to Sammy Guevara and Jake Hager. Basically, like I said in Monday's episode, or whichever episode it was, just after I recorded that, all the Sammy Guevara stuff came out. And I know that there was a few things over the weekend about Jake Hager. But I'd already planned out this tournament, but I thought, just beat him up. Just beat him up a bit and they can fuck off, basically. Sorry for my vulgar language, but, they're bellends. Detestable. Okay, so now with that being said, sorry about to lower the tone a little bit, but let's move on to the next segment. The new TNT champion, Shawn Spears, makes his way to the ring. Please, 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 hold your applause. I know last week was the most impressive performance any of you have seen in AEW so far, but please, I need to speak. I have had people asking me all week on Twitter, Shawn, are you going to keep doing the Open Challenge? Shawn, Cody was the best champ ever for defending it every week. What are you going to do? The best champ ever? Please. Cody was a moron trying to replicate the success of someone who used to tell him to never give up. Cody, you're nothing more than a wannabe. Now, to answer the question of will I be continuing the Open Challenge, Open Challenges are for people who don't care about the title. I care about the prestige of this championship, and I believe that only people who earn their shot deserve to fight for this prize. So no, the open challenge is over, and the big thing is here. That got a 39. A bit disappointed with that one, to be honest. I would have liked to have get that a little bit higher, but oh well. The TNT Championship storyline advanced, and the commentary gave that a boost. What made it so bad? Shawn Spears penalised for having low morale. That's the only thing that penalised it. Alright, okay. Maybe that just wasn't... I'm not sure. Anyway, let's move on to the next matchup. And it is cheerleader Melissa picking up the victory over Chris Statlander in just over 8.5 minutes with an air raid crash. This again got a 51 rating. Cheerleader Melissa is getting better at her gimmick. And I'm liking now that in these two matches, these two women's matches we've had tonight, Chris Statlander and Britt Baker, neither of them have had a negative for not being popular enough. So that's good. I can actually use them without getting marked down now, which is perfect. It just took like 2 months. But that's okay. Oops. Oh, not my microphone. Cheerleader Melissa had an in-ring performance of 53, and Statlander had a 30, and the commentary gave that segment a nice little boost. And now let's move on to Jon Moxley taking on Jack Evans. And in a bout that had great wrestling and good heat, Jon Moxley defeated Jack Evans in 9.5 minutes with a paradigm shift. That segment got a 77. Jim Ross and Excalibur worked well, and Jon Moxley had a groundswell of public support. Jon Moxley had a performance of 85, and Jack Evans had a performance of 62. Very nice co-main event there. Now let's move on to the next segment. As Moxley's music hits, a clapping is heard over the speaker. MJF comes out to the ramp applauding. Wow, John, that was really impressive. I mean, defeating Jack. I mean, his name is Jack, right? Anyway, what an achievement. You know, John, I know I may have lost at Fyter Fest, but since then I've lost a bit of dead weight. So, John, what do you say? Next week, Jon Moxley versus MJF? I know it's a scary thought, John, taking on the fastest rising star in professional wrestling. But what do you say? Moxley grabs a mic. You really are a stupid son of a bitch. I'm in. So there we have it. Next week we are having MJF taking on Jon Moxley, and I can tell you right now that that will definitely be our main event of the evening. 81 for that segment. Get in there. And that's with MJF underperforming. Excalibur was weak at the announce desk, but that's okay. Now let's move on to your main event of the evening. FTR taking on Cody and Dustin Rhodes. And in just over 20 minutes, a long main event, it is FTR who managed to pick up the victory after they pinned Dustin Rhodes after hitting a Goodnight Express. That segment got a 70 rating, which is beautiful. Dax had a 62, Cash had a 67, Dustin had a 56, and Cody, the best in that matchup, with a 73. Both tag teams have great chemistry working together. The match dragged a bit at the end, okay, a few minutes too long. And Jim Ross and Excalibur work well together. And the F the Rest storyline has advanced with that segment. Beautiful. I said it last time, but I love FTR so much. Now let's move on to the final segment of AEW Dynamite. After the bell, FTR start to beat down Cody and Dustin. They pick up Dustin and hit him with the Goodnight Express. They get Cody in the Mindbreaker, but before Cash can hit the move, Omega and Page run out. Omega and Page fight off FTR and they retreat to the entrance ramp, staring the champs down as we go off the air. So the F the Rest storyline advanced. Cody looked good, Kenny looked good, announcing was good. Beautiful. I feel good about this. This was quite a decent show. Let's move on to the end screen, and see the rating that we got. 74. 74 is good. Very nice. I feel like I'm getting to hang with the booking a little bit more. Like the last since Fyter Fest, every episode of Dynamite has been above 70, which is really nice. Still not our best episode. Our best episode is still the first episode of the series, where we got a 75. But still, increased our popularity in 38 regions. In between Dark and Dynamite, I did upgrade the sound, so that's not going to be marking stuff down anymore. I'm really happy with Britt Baker and Cheerleader Melissa matches. I was expecting those to be a bit lower, to be honest. So I'm very happy with how that turned out. The John Moxley, MJF, Jack Evans thing, amazing. FTR, Cody, great, love that. Jericho in the buyer's pool, amazing. Yeah, all in all, a very good show, and looks like things maybe are starting to fall into place for All Out. So let's finish the show, and I will see you back at the home screen, and we will see how we compared to NXT. Okay, so here we are. Let's see how New Japan got an 80, because of course they did. NXT got a 73. We beat them by 1, and they had a 2.16 TV rating. Let's quickly check our TV rating. 2.16. We got a 2.06. Okay, so they still beat us, but we're closing down the gap. That's in the last 3 weeks, we've beaten them twice and drawn once. So that's really nice. And Ring of Honor got an 84. Jesus Christ. Dragon Lee and Kenny King defeated Villain Enterprises with an 86. Wow, that's pretty good. Is there anything else that I wanted to show you? Let's quickly have a look for some announcers and see if... not announcers, sorry, some interviewers, and see if we can get anything there. Let's try and sign Kathy Kelly. Kathy Kelly was great. Let's get her on an exclusive written deal for 1 year. I'd like to pay everyone monthly. Let's see if we can get her for $4,000 a month. Never be involved. Available for all shows. You can have a 20% cut of your merchandise. Okay, she wants at least 4,200. That's fine. You can have 4,200. And so next episode, hopefully, we will have Kathy Kelly in as our new interviewer. Kathy Kelly was great, isn't she? How is she only that popular? She should be more popular than that. But anyway, doesn't matter. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And yeah, once again, Sammy and Jake Hager will not be used in the future. That's me writing them out of the series. And I hope you enjoyed the episode. Thank you all for watching. Goodbye.